The college football experience week 7 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
This is Brock Purdy from Iowa State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience week 7 reaction show. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Oh, man. I feel like a fucking prophet. I'm a prophet. You know what I mean? I am joined by my co-host. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke fan, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Well,
and you hung in with the best college football team in the land.
Oh, Tecmo, baby.
I mean, let's give it up for the ECU. Film
graphics department, whatever. I mean,
a lot of Tecmo love.
They played Tecmo Super Bowl on the scoreboard there. I mean, come on. They were covering it on their social media page. Hey. Shout out to East Carolina.
They're figuring it out.
We got a lot to talk about with them though, but holy shit, Patty C. I do feel like, we are just, I feel like we're better than your traditional college football podcast.
Could be. I feel like we did pretty well for the most part, not 100% by any means, but overall, well, what are your biggest flexes for the day?
Well, I think the biggest flex
is your lock record.
No, I had some locks that lost too. But I think one of them that would be kind of key here is the fact that let's say 4 top 10 teams went on the road and they lost.
Oh,
so it's funny, it's a funny thing. The more you go on the road, the higher the chances are that you lose the game.
Well,
so you would think you would try to get some type of system where you would play equal amount of away games. Right.
As if one team would have, not 4 less road games than another team during the course of the season. That does make it seem like
I just find it ironic that say USC never wins in Salt Lake City. Oh, they won the COVID year when there was no fans. Okay, right. That doesn't count, right? I find that ironic, Patty C. Now you could say Alabama always wins at Tennessee, but Tennessee was dog shit for a long time. All right.
Yeah.
It only works if you got to be somewhat decent.
Or
all right?
top 10.
Yeah.
And let me just own this right off the bat.
Yes.
One more undefeated team.
Back away. Hello. JMU went to Georgia Southern. 13-point dogs or 12.5. I told you to ride the money line on the morning show. I told you to ride the money line on the Wednesday show. God damn it, Georgia Southern. You came through for me. You came through. Now let's do your shots, buddy. Right. One down
right here. Congrats, Georgia Southern. Great game.
Let's go. That's for Kyle Van Treese's right arm. All right.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I mean, this day was bananas. This was the craziest day yet. I mean, first off, I need an Iowa game because I'm sorry, folks. People could say, hey, Tennessee, Bama, USC, Utah.
Yeah, it balances
fucking
the
play
force.
some fucking defense.
Yeah.
I wanted to vomit all day.
Too many shootouts.
I hate it, dude. I hate watching. Look, I get it. It was awesome. Alabama lost.
Yeah.
I hate watching a 51-48 game.
Yeah. Almost every game involving top 10 teams. At least one of the teams, or not both of the teams, scored at least.
Dude, the
20,
USC
28.
game, the USC Utah game. Utah scored like I want to say like their final six of the final 7 possessions, and the only one that was a stop was when the running back fumbled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, or like 5 yard line, but yeah.
It was like, come on, somebody fucking play defense. It's a problem, man. We got to get the FCS coming up strong for me.
Well, you know who played a little defense today? The Michigan Wolverines.
True. And that's one of my locks.
41-17.
That's one of my locks that I got wrong. So hold on. Let's go one by one here. Let's go one by one.
We're locks or games?
Through games. Colgate and Army, your reaction. No, I'm joking around. Okay, let's start off Alabama, Tennessee, Patty C.
I mean, exactly what you were saying. Entirely too much offense.
Dude, for a minute there, every play was like 75 yards.
Well, it's kind of what we predicted. I saw people trying to defend Alabama's defensive backfield, saying it's chock full of like top end caliber players, but they're not playing that well. They haven't been, and lo and behold, Tennessee exploited the shit out of them to the tune of 52 points.
Tennessee, Hendon Hooker played fantastic. I mean, but still, how about the handoff that they dropped? Yeah. I mean, honestly, Tennessee probably should have lost that game. And I was glad to see. I was delighted. If I had access to an SGPN private jet, we would have delayed the reaction show to tomorrow because we would have been partying in fucking Knoxville. Yeah. I would have rented one of those pontoon boats. It would have been absolutely.
Dude, they're probably still going off
absolutely
right now.
Bananas. Great win. Shout out to Josh Heupel. I've been a fan of Josh Heupel. I haven't seen Mike Leach guy. I've been a fan since the Oklahoma team back in 2000.
Now let me say this. Do you think it's Alabama taking a step back, or can that offense consistently with that kind of talent beat the likes of an Alabama? Because the times we've seen it before, it hasn't had.
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of both. I think, yes, Heupel has. I mean, first off, I was a little bit of a skeptic of the Heupel hire at Tennessee just because I wanted to see a bigger resume at UCF. I thought they had it kind of downgraded after Frost.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. I'm a fucking idiot there.
Yeah, I think we all thought that. I mean, Frost is the one that put him undefeated, and then Heupel kind of took steps down. How many seasons was he there, though?
I don't know, 3 maybe.
Yeah, I feel like they got worse each successive season.
Well, even this year, man, I still feel like if Keaton Slovis doesn't get knocked out of that game, which was part coaching blunder by Narduzzi, keeping him in, trying to throw for a fucking Hail Mary or something like
what at halftime.
Yeah, and he gets his quarterback knocked out.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt like they were going to lose that game. Like based on the first half, I was like Pitt was the better team.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee is definitely not a perfect team.
They got it done today, man, and shout out to them.
I did get lucky, and that's the difference right now between Tennessee of days past is they can get past a huge blunder like that, a blunder that a team that doesn't deserve to win that kind of game makes. But Tennessee came back and got it done. Yeah, and maybe it's because Alabama's not quite as good.
I do think that's the case. I think Alabama's not as good, and I also think that I think we're just in for a crazy college football season. It's funny, Pat Kappa in the chat saying Bama fans are calling for an expanded playoff now. Well, don't you find that ironic? Bama never played out of conference away games ever, besides Duke 1 year and Penn State in the middle of their probation.
Yeah, so we never got to look at that.
Well, I mean, they should have lost to Texas.
Yeah,
they should have lost to Texas. But I feel like the more you go through this, the more battles you got to go through, the harder it is. Arkansas, they were up 28-0, but Arkansas came back and Bama answered the call.
Yeah.
And it finally caught up to them today.
Yeah.
Because they have had 3 close games all 3 of their road games at one point or another were close in the second half.
And I feel like that's traditionally where they've struggled, whether it be A&M back in the day. The lone exception being LSU has seemed to be able to come into Tuscaloosa and get it done, whereas Bama's been able to go down to Baton Rouge and get it done. But aside from
Manziel got it done once in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. I would say aside from that,
but my thing is if you limit the away games, which they would traditionally do. This year they're playing one more because of the Texas thing.
Yeah, they actually went on the road.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more of it's a bigger challenge for your team.
Yeah. Not only in that one-off situation, but in terms of dealing with the week-to-week rigor.
Yeah, I mean the injuries, everything. I feel like the grind is harder when you have to go through that.
Absolutely.
And Wow.
showing up, and now they have a back-to-back road for the first time or one of the few times in the last decade, I would think. I think you've dug through the numbers on that. Not many. So they got to go to LSU and Ole Miss. Those are actually two freaking hard back-to-back road games. I wouldn't be surprised if they take another.
My thing is they're hard environments. I don't know that these teams' offenses are good enough though, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, if Bama isn't like absolute dominant Bama, then they're likely to take an L in one of those two games.
Can Tennessee win the SEC East, Petty C?
I think they absolutely can. I think it depends on which Stetson Bennett shows up, which Georgia shows up. Obviously, getting that game in Athens is huge, but I think this offense kind of can travel. I don't think they're going to get bogged down on the road as hard. Yeah. So I think we're gonna have probably a shootout there too.
Penn State, I was on the wrong side, so I even bet Bama -7. So I lost my ass early on. Thankfully, one game came through for me that I had my biggest wager on, but I did bet on Penn State plus 7.5 or 8, I think it was, and I lost a ton there because Michigan. Oh man, that ground attack.
Blake Corum's a beast. Donovan Edwards a beast.
Dude, Penn State was lucky to be in the game even at halftime.
You think?
Yes. Michigan dominated that first half. The pick 6 was huge.
Yeah, you're right.
They dominated that first half, and it's a great performance. It was a great performance.
Yeah, offensively, I mean, Clifford got benched like third quarter, fourth quarter.
I actually kind of turned it off when I got up there.
Yeah,
I put it on Duquesne or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there was a bunch of great games today.
Tuned it out. I was stuck in a work setting for a couple hours in the morning there, so I didn't get to catch as many of the games in the morning as I wanted to. But I will say that one funny thing is whoever was commentating on that game is talking about Ayler, the backup quarterback, coming in having the biggest arm he'd ever seen. And the first throw he throws is 10 yards underthrown. I was like, great analysis there.
Shout out to Railtail in the chat. He goes, won some good cash on that round robin. I can't talk. Round robin bet y'all gave out this morning. Yes, there we go. And this morning I did mention as a double-digit dog to watch out for besides Georgia Southern. I had Old Dominion as potentially one that could do it on the turf, and Coastal Carolina no longer undefeated. Patty C.
All group of 5's done, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not mistaken. That is accurate because Coastal.
Time for shot number 2 on that.
There you go. This one for Kyle Van Drees's small cock. All right, there you go.
There you go. I'll take a shot to that, you fucking son of a bitch.
Oh man, there we go. So. Who's the best team in the Sun Belt? I apologize, Kyle Van Treese. You probably have a large cock. I'm just sitting over here, trying to poke this guy here.
Yeah, you're
trying to talk shit. But Patty C, who's the best team in the Sun Belt? It's hard to tell right now.
Let me take a peek at these standings.
I think it's South Alabama.
It could be. I mean,
how about my Jaguars?
It could be ODU after this game. They house. South Alabama did what today? They won.
Well, they won again. Their only loss is a 1-point loss to UCLA, where they were dominated. They were winning that whole game.
I'm gonna say a 7-point win over Louisiana Monroe. Maybe not.
They dressed it up a little bit. They were up bigger.
Really. I feel like
bigger.
Were they?
I think they were up like 17 at one point. Right?
Okay. Look, Janarius Johnson getting penetration. It's got to be painful for any offense that has to deal with that.
Shout out to Noah Beanick and Dryden in the chat. Shout out to the whole D-Gen family, Justin Casey. Honestly, the Sun Belt, we thought App State, Coastal Carolina, obviously they were in the same division. We thought, okay, so Louisiana's got the easy route. Well, maybe not the case. Troy and South Alabama look like the teams to beat over there. Southern Miss takes down Arkansas State over there. So,
I'm going to say this, and this is obviously probably recency bias on my part, but Georgia Southern, I mean, I know they're 1-2 in conference right now, but that was an impossible offense to stop. I think he figured something out where, I mean, JMU didn't do what they had to do to play any kind of defense against it, but they're sitting up there at the line of scrimmage, and basically, unless JMU is, disguising their defense right up until the snap, they're getting diagnosed at the line of scrimmage, and they're getting up there on the no huddle, with 30 seconds to go. And he just picks it apart. He figures out if they're not changing it up enough, exactly what they're doing, and then boom. What do you have, 575?
Yeah,
yards?
He was firing the laser all over the field. And dude, there's some huge Sun Belt games on weekdays. Georgia State at Appalachian State this Wednesday. Then on Thursday, which might be the Sun Belt game of the year, Troy at South Alabama. Great fucking game.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. That race is. See, imagine if there was a playoff berth, an automatic playoff berth. Everyone would fucking watch every week and say, "Oh my god, who's going to win this thing? Come on, give us a large playoff."
Especially,
I'm not talking 12. I'm talking large with qualifiers.
Give me 16 with
qualifiers. I want fucking automatic qualifiers.
Yeah.
Patty C, your boys. I should play your music here. What music should I give you? How about we go? Well, how about we start it off with where the hell is my? I don't know where I'm at here. There we go. Patty C locked up the Fighting Illini.
Boom. My guy Brett Bielema.
They're gonna do this, right? They're gonna win the Big Ten West, right?
It looks like it. We looked at their schedule. 10-2 is very, very doable at this point. Let me.
Where do they catch Purdue? Is that in Champaign?
That is in Champaign, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, it is.
You got that pulled up?
I do. I have it right
Rattle
here.
those off. What do they got
at
left?
Nebraska next week.
That's a tough spot.
Dude, I'll be honest. All these are tough spots because Illinois' margin for error. Like if they look, I think they're better than Michigan State.
You say their margin for error is small, but
the 9-6 game to Iowa is what I mean.
That's the only.
They lost to fucking Indiana is what I mean.
Well, okay, but they beat. Well, Virginia means nothing, but they beat Wisconsin by 24. They beat Minnesota by 12 today.
Yes. Look, they look great. I'm not trying to throw shit at them. Like I said, I like a good low scoring game after watching all those fucking arena football games I watched today. Come on.
You know what's even more impressive about them is that Tommy DeVito is playing well. Chase.
Well, he played today. I didn't think he was going to play. I thought it was going to be Satowski.
Yeah.
That's all the difference right there.
Chase Brown, 180 yards. Ibrahim and Brown, super ground-based attack, but you get DeVito throwing for 252. I feel like he was pretty efficient. Let me double check that. 24 of no, that's let me get this pulled up. Sorry. Keep talking while I look up his stats.
Well, Noah says Illinois catches Michigan at the look-ahead spot right before Ohio State, which I'm sure the Big Ten did that on purpose, but thinking that Illinois would be trash.
Suck. Yeah.
And Noah says Michigan has dropped the game prior to Ohio State many times. Watch out. Bielema ball, baby. I'm buying in.
And a team that's
I'm going to buy a Dick Butkus jersey.
Boom. A team that is specifically designed to, stop Michigan's run attack. You fight fire with fire.
And Ryan Walters, you might be a Bielema guy, but long before Bielema was even at Wisconsin, probably, maybe, Ryan Walters played safety for Colorado. All right.
Boom.
And that's my guy. All right.
That's the DC, right?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe the next Buffs coach, although they got the dub too. But Tommy DeVito, 25 of 32 for 252. That's fucking efficient.
It is. Look, he's way better than Satowski. I was panicked because of the Satowski angle. I don't know. Minnesota flex going to go 7-5. Like
that was a massive win. Yeah. That might have been for the division right there.
Possibly. You don't know how this is going to shake out. I mean, this
Big Ten West,
dude. This college football season is fucking bananas. That's what's so great about it.
It's one of the best first 7 weeks we've had in a while.
Yes. Noah says, "Is Illinois field AstroTurf or grass?" I believe it's AstroTurf, right?
Illinois.
I don't remember. I feel they definitely had AstroTurf in the 90s. I mean, I guess everyone did.
I mean, what a shame. Yeah, it's true. What's Illinois' field called?
Back when I started watching that, when they were actually a force defensively with Kevin Hardy and Simeon Rice and Dana Howard, was it? I think the other linebacker there.
Going deep.
Johnny Johnson was QB.
Oh, yet another Memorial Stadium, Illinois. Very creative.
Every Big Ten stadium is Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. I don't have it pulled up right here, but I'm almost positive it's grass.
Okay. All right. There you go. I'll trust you. I'll trust your word. Bielema ball. You still going for Bielema as Halloween?
Let's
go.
No.
I want to see you with that cup of whiskey.
Yeah.
Or that beer that he has.
And then put on the headset.
There you go.
I'm pretty much Bielema right now. Let's be honest.
Patty C. Auburn 34, Ole Miss 48. I'll be honest. Great win for Ole Miss. You're undefeated. You never beat Auburn, so you should celebrate this.
Field turf.
I told you. I thought it was turf.
But that's I guess that is.
Yeah, I thought it was turf. Ole Miss undefeated still. I don't believe in Ole Miss, but they should still. If you're an Ole Miss fan, you should celebrate. You got the dub. You're still undefeated, and you never beat Auburn, so enjoy it.
Yeah.
But with the exception of Troy, wait, is Kentucky over 500? Yeah, they are. Okay, so
Kentucky look good today.
They have 2 wins over teams that are 500 or above.
Dude, I think you're selling what Lane Kiffin's doing there a little bit short. They're winning games. The offense looks good.
Dude, that is the easiest schedule. That might be easier than Michigan's fucking schedule thus far.
Look, I don't think that they're a national championship contender, but I think given the SEC West is down.
It is down. That's what's interesting about this college football season.
Yeah.
And Alabama will still win it. But hey, shout out to Ole Miss. You're getting it done. You're undefeated. What the fuck? What the fuck do I know? I'm just a bozo over here. But I did hit on Auburn plus 15.5. So maybe I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
So Ole Miss so far: Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Tulsa, Kentucky, Vandy, and Auburn. That is a hot ass garbage.
And Levis was injured in the Kentucky game. So I mean, he played, but he got injured in it.
Yeah. So the one decent opponent that they played had an injured star quarterback.
Patty C, Kansas lost. Well, they pushed for me. Got the plus 10.
By the way,
got the plus 10 late.
That was they were getting their ass kicked a little bit by.
I lost money and I gained money. Yeah, they were. They have problems. My bowl prediction. They don't run as well, and that defense. Jeff Lebby, he had that offense flying against Kansas defense, and they lost Kobe Bryant for the season. The corner that made a lot of big time plays.
L's left and right.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, man. But either way, I think they'll find a way to get one and get to that chimichanga bowl.
There you go. They're way on the over, but it was what 2.5.
Yeah,
fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, but I do think Jalen Daniels out for the year. Heshaw, their running back, out for the year, and then Kobe Bryant out for the year, which I'm assuming just because he was like carted off. It seemed like he had a broken leg or something.
Yeah,
that's too big a.
Kansas,
I don't think they have the depth. I don't think they have that depth there yet.
Yeah, I mean Baylor, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Texas, and K State left on the schedule. 3 of those on the road. Getting one would be impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Then you want to talk about one of the toughest watches. Great game, but like this game drove me crazy. Iowa State was better than Texas today. I will argue that with any fucking person. I cashed on that. Luckily, that was my number 1 lock. Cashed on that motherfucker, but Patty C,
brutal.
I feel like Iowa State dominated the first half, with the exception of the final like 4 minutes of the first half.
Yeah,
and Texas got 2 touchdowns right around then. Right, took the lead at halftime. Iowa State threw a pick in the end zone in the first half. They also missed a field goal, and then in the second half, Texas did add a field goal, I believe, to go up. 17-7, you're thinking, and I'm like, how the fuck is Texas up by 10?
Yeah.
Well, Iowa State quickly responds to, 2 touchdowns and they're up 21-17. Texas responds. It gets a 4th down conversion on a great route by the wideout. And then, well, first off, one of those drives was a crock of shit. They called a roughing the passer on Quinn Ewers. That was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And it prolonged the drive, and Texas got a touchdown off that drive, and it was absolutely pathetic. And if you're going to call that ticky-tack bullshit, then why won't you call that targeting? I mean, look, I don't want to lie. Yeah, I don't want to advocate for the targeting on Hunter Deckers.
I don't care if your team gets completely screwed by it, Colby, which did happen.
Fair enough. Well,
never advocate for it.
I'm just saying it was bullshit. Xavier Hutchinson, the play before drops. This is one of the best wideouts in the country. Drops and he jumps unnecessarily and drops a for sure touchdown.
Yeah.
Then the fumble happens, and Matt Campbell, I thought, nailed it because the refs' language didn't make any sense. They said their review. They said it was he was down initially, and they said he wasn't down. They said they're reviewing the targeting. It just seemed like they had no fucking idea what they were doing.
Here's what happens with the program, right? I feel like the general public and the pulse of college football, like it can't just take a traditional doormat and allow them to come up and completely dominate. So their trajectory has been, Ohio or Iowa State's good. Everyone gives them love, but they don't want the Iowa State to be the class of the Big 12 year in, year out. And so they're going to stop getting calls, but eventually people are going to, give him respect. He's going to be like, oh, this is Matt Campbell, long-term great coach. And they're going to get the love again. But right now they're on that ass end of every year.
Dude, I feel like I can't recall a team in like the past decade that has been fucked by referees more than in 1 year. than Matt Campbell and Iowa State this year.
Yeah. Well, they're just. I mean, Matt Campbell, his like very earnest, non-flashy approach isn't super sexy. The Iowa State program isn't super sexy. So, in a competitive and kind of a lot of fun teams in the Big 12, they are kind of prone to that in the first place. And then, like we said, but I don't know. I don't know. I agree with you. I think it's been a lot for consecutive weeks.
Dude, they have 4 losses by like 14 points
total.
And I feel like each one of those games had critical calls go against Iowa State. Look, I'm no fucking. I mean, is it cool that Iowa State wins? Sure, but you're not. I don't have an Iowa State jersey. You're not my team.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you. Week in, week out, they get fucked.
Yeah,
and by a lot of questionable calls. And I find it weird. I find it a little weird. When look, what is like? You see it happen one time. You say, okay, that could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You see that happen like 4 straight weeks. You're like, wait, what did this guy do to you? Wait, what is this?
Right.
What is this?
Coincidentally, Texas is the biggest brand in college football, probably. So, or at least the biggest athletics brand.
Texas has only been on the road one time this year, Patty C. They lost. That's why I get annoyed when people say, hey, Texas is a playoff team. Quinn Ewers played all right. He played all right to win the game, but I also, like people wanted to crown him the fucking, the next YA Tittle after beating
That's a great one.
You know what I mean? Like everyone's ready to look, and I like Quinn Ewers.
17-26, 172.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, they're gonna lose when they hit the road. They're gonna lose when they hit the road.
They've already
again.
done it.
Yeah, but Ewers hasn't been there. That's the excuse. Oh, we didn't have Quinn Ewers. We really should be a top 5 team.
Yeah.
Fuck you, because Bryce Young was out for Bama. Guess what? They found a way to win. All right. Jalen Daniels is out for Kansas. They've lost. Oh, maybe with Jalen Daniels in, they're undefeated.
Right.
Hey, they should win the national championship. Let's give them a share of the fucking national championship, Patty C.
Guess what? He might get hurt again.
Yeah.
Things might go wrong. Bijan Robinson might get dinged up.
It's ridiculous.
You can't blame your loss.
Sean Clifford got injured in that Purdue game. They still found a way to get the dub. Right?
Iowa State outgains Texas 403-363.
Dude, they were the better team today. It was incredibly frustrating to watch. It was incredibly frustrating. I couldn't imagine the pain of an like a diehard Iowa State fan because they were the better football team.
2 turnovers to 0 though. That's the difference.
Yeah, and the one in the end zone. The one in the end zone was huge. And then the fumble at the end. Yeah. Just crazy. But I want to say I was trying to pull up I don't remember what account I tweeted this from, but they had Matt Campbell's quote afterwards, and it was just hilarious because he's like, you can tell he's frustrated with the refs. He was like, they never give me an explanation. I got no idea what's going on. Apparently we lost the game. Poor guy. All right, next up.
Keep fighting the good fight, Matt.
Yeah, Iowa State did drop that bomb, and that was brutal. Absolutely brutal. Patty C, folks, if you listen to our show all year long, I have an Akron over 2.5 ticket, 2.5 wins. This game was heartbreaking. Like, I don't think we're going to hit, by the way. I think it's one of my locks that I'm going to misfire on, but I still have it. They show signs of life, which makes me think maybe they can still pull it off, but brutal. If you didn't watch the Central Michigan Akron game today, well, first off, shame on you. I know you had Bama and Tennessee on, or Michigan and Penn State, but damn it, Mac shit was going on. All right. Central Michigan. So Akron is tied up 21-21, right? They are in scoring position. There's like a minute left on the clock. They are basically in a spot to run the clock. It's like first or second down to run the clock and kick a game-winning field goal. We're there.
What yard line are they on?
I want to say, I don't know, 25?
25 going in.
Yes, going in. Like, give or take.
Tie game, 1 minute left. 25 yards.
I mean, and Pat Kappa saying sickening. It was sickening. They do basically the Hendon Hooker thing. The option read, drop the ball, and the linebacker for Central Michigan takes it 80 yards for a touchdown, or the defensive end. Yeah. I could not believe it. I was ready. I had the tweet ready to send off saying Akron over 2.5 wins, still alive. Yeah. And boom, 80-yard return for a touchdown. Boom. See, I almost went off. We're on the second story of a building. I almost jumped off this fucking
nose dived it. Let me say this. Akron doing that makes sense. Tennessee doing that. That's who we're comparing you to.
Tennessee pulling that out too. Yeah. Tennessee giving Alabama a free touchdown.
Like no one was within 15 yards.
Have a touchdown, and they still won the game. That is true. And any Bama fan can't argue that and say, "Oh, you got lucky, we missed the field goal."
Yeah.
Well, you got lucky.
Yeah.
Tennessee gift wrapped a touchdown for you.
Right, practically.
Oh man, but Akron over. So Akron's 1-5. Oh man, this was our chance. We should be 2-4 right now, and I feel pretty good about one upset.
Kent State, Miami, Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, and NIU. You're not getting.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. This was the one. This was the fucking one, man.
It got away.
Good God.
Drop the ball.
I couldn't imagine
literally.
being an Iowa State fan, and I couldn't imagine being a Zip fan today because you saw optimism do that third shot.
You know what?
You crazy.
In honor of those, and you know it's gonna make me feel better. You guys, I know you can't see it here, but it's App State on the shot glass. So I'll drink to that victory once again.
There you go. There you go.
Fuck you,
Take
Georgia
that.
Southern.
Patty C. Miami was up 20-0 on Virginia Tech and still somehow almost gave away this game.
blew my cover.
Dude, there was a minute where I thought before not Ryan Van Dyke. I always say Ryan Van Dyke. Who's Ryan Van Dyke? That was old Michigan State quarterback.
Okay.
Andy Van Slyke. I don't fucking know. But Tyler Van Dyke ran for a key first down on a third down. Virginia Tech had him at a third, and I thought they were going to get the ball back and win. They had scored really fast, and I was like, whoa, Virginia Tech might pull this out. Both these teams suck. I came away from watching that game saying, hey, I think both these teams are terrible.
The least interesting game. It's the only game that was more interesting in the last 2 minutes than it was for the first 58 minutes. Terrible fucking team, Virginia Tech. Miami not good either. You had an excellent breakdown of the tiers of the ACC Coastal.
Yes, Virginia Tech. That's the toilet bowl.
Dead at the bottom.
Dead at the bottom.
As a JMU guy,
hilarious.
I'm all for
hilarious.
it. Yeah.
Then tier 2, you have Georgia Tech, who is 2-1 and won 2 in a row, and they play UVA on Thursday. Might be 3-1 in the Coastal. They're there with Miami.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't know who wins that game if they play.
Yeah.
Then the other tier is Duke and Carolina, which was a barn burner today. And Pitt. Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll get to that one. But Buffalo, dude, Buffalo's something happened with the Bulls. They're in. Lindquist got him.
Oh man,
he's
got him rolling.
34-7. They dominate the Minutemen of UMass. They go up on the road to the McGurk and they get the dub.
Is he in line for a good gig?
Well, I think they're probably giving him another year or so. But
but I mean, in time,
if he keeps doing like this, shout out to UMass's quarterback Garrett Dzuro, 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 7 of 14 for 99 yards. Solid game. Solid
Almost
game
got to 100.
Didn't turn the ball over. I mean, from an interception standpoint.
Got to qualify it a little bit there.
Okay, let's talk about this one. I hit on this one, gave this one away this morning. UConn plus 9.5 at Ball State. UConn should have won this outright. They were there. They had to lead the whole game.
UConn is a decent program.
Dude, I am really impressed with Jim Mora in year 1.
Yeah. How old is Jim Mora? That guy doesn't crack. Mora don't crack. He looks young, but I feel like he's got a ton of experience.
First off, Ball State has this big, gigantic white running back. He was there.
60 years old. That's the best looking 60-year-old man I've ever seen. No,
what are you trying to fuck him?
I might. He keeps winning games and bringing Northeast football back. Maybe me and Jim Mora hang out a little bit.
Carson Steele, the running back for Ball State, 32 rushes, 179 yards, 3 TDs. John Riggins 2.0.
Carson
Can
Steele?
you Google image this guy? He's like Quinn Ewers at running back, dude. Texas needs he needs a transfer to Texas.
He's got the he's got the mullet. Oh,
dude, it is amazing.
It's not Quinn Ewers though. This guy's Fabio at running back.
Dude,
it's not a mullet.
He's a beast. He had the game-winning touchdown today.
He makes Michael Pratt look like fucking Jabba the Hutt. This guy's gorgeous.
Oh man! Shout out to Ball State. Your boys, Patty C. Your boys.
Boom. That's
they got the heart of a champion.
No one comes into Muncie and gets a W.
To quote Mike Tyson, I got the heart of Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Next up. Oh, can we talk about this? We need to throw a flag on the play. I told you guys this. UNC Nick. We should call Nick right now and wake him up. Colorado's not as bad. Their schedule makes them look that bad.
That's a big win they got today.
They're not as bad as what you think. They're like on Virginia Tech's level. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Like I think they're the same team. Like they both suck offensively and defensively, but Colorado has 11 Power Fives and an Air Force who's going to win like 9 games this year.
Beyond like the administration not supporting football and kind of undermining the football program in any way they can, this is another kind of overlooked way that Darrell gets screwed as the head coach.
Well, it's also a way that people will smear the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And they do it with Stanford too. What happened with Stanford, Patty C? They only had one win because they play 11 Power Fives and Colgate.
Yeah.
Right? They only had one win.
Yeah.
But what'd they do today?
Walked into South Bend.
Boom. Marcus Freeman. Take that.
Freeman.
Take that.
He's figured it out, but it's still in the early stages. You got to lose a couple at the beginning. I still believe in Freeman. I think he's going to get it going, but he's a young coach. You know, he's got some growing pains he's got to go through. This is a long-term commitment Notre Dame.
My point though is that Colorado and Stanford, people will say, "Oh, the Pac-12 sucks." Yeah, I get it. Colorado and Stanford aren't world beaters. They suck.
Yeah,
they do.
But lo and behold,
but they don't suck as bad as you think.
Yeah,
because their schedule absurd.
What do you think Colorado would be against Ole Miss's schedule?
They would beat. Well, I know like they would have won 3-0 like Michigan's out of conference schedule.
Yeah, they'd be 3-4 against Michigan's schedule probably, or better maybe.
I think they might be able to beat Indiana. That'd be a game.
Give my L there, but
no, I give Indiana like I would favor Indiana, but I don't think they're running away with it.
Yeah.
I think it's like a 1 possession game.
I can't give Colorado that much.
Dude, Colorado was playing TCU really good before fucking Max Duggan came in. You got lucky. Chandler Morris got in. Colorado was hanging with them. Yeah.
Let me see Colorado's schedule.
They suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that they're good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that their schedule makes them look like the worst team ever when really they're not. They're
losses to TCU, undefeated. Air Force with what, 1 or 2 losses?
I think 2, right?
2. Minnesota, pretty damn good. UCLA,
undefeated.
Excellent. And Arizona, pretty fucking good. Yeah. No shit. You're playing all winning teams. You're going to lose those games.
Anyway,
granted, they got their ass kicked in pretty much all of them. But
well, those other teams are better than them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dress it up. All I'm saying is that if you gave them like Boston College has scored some bullshit wins against like Maine or something, or like if you gave Colorado, whoever the fuck Boston College played, they would have a couple wins.
They're like
and then they would look better.
A C-level Pac-12 team, a tier 3 Pac-12 team, but they're not necessarily a group of 5 team, but they're not group tier 4. Dude, they're not Vandy.
I think Colorado could beat Northwestern.
Yeah, I think so too. But Northwestern sucks ass.
I think Colorado Vandy's a game.
Colorado, Virginia.
A game.
Yeah.
Colorado, BC. Game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Teams we give a decent amount of respect to, or at least a little respect to, we're not giving to Colorado.
Or Stanford.
Yeah, true.
So, Patty C. Maryland, Loxley, they lose Tolia Tagovailoa with an injury. But I'm on the over with Maryland this year. They're 5-2. Watch out, Terrapins. For them? I think it's 6.
Very doable. What's the back end of that schedule? Probably pretty
You had
brutal.
to say that, didn't you? Well, they got Northwestern next. Boom!
Cash that over.
They still got Rutgers on the schedule too.
Here, let's have this. Let's have this conversation because DGen Eric said it, and I've said it 1,000 times. Tagovailoa, right? Why is the UN in there? Tagovailoa. Like someone explained to me pronunciations of Hawaiian names and why we should fucking but it's the same thing as everyone saying Ed Ogeron. See, that's not some weird pronunciation I don't know. That's just everyone being a fucking moron. It's Orgeron. There's an O or an R at the beginning. Tongo Vailoa maybe, but Ogeron, you're a fucking moron. All right, anyway, let's go.
I'd probably say Orgeron too.
No, Orgeron, you got it right.
Oh, okay, I got it right there.
Ogeron. Who the fuck?
Well, don't worry. Tune in next year to my BYU preview, and you'll see me miss 700 names.
Unless there's a silent R. Maybe that's like a Creole thing. I don't know.
Let me get us paid real quick.
Yeah.
Let me get us paid, buddy. I want to tell you folks out there that the college football experience week 7 recap show is brought to you by WinBet. Yes, bet $100 at WinBet and get a $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by Fubotv. If you watch football, you need Fubotv. Fubotv gives you complete coverage of college and pro football. They got the NFL Red Zone. They got games in 4K at no extra charge. There's over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. You can watch it on all your devices. Never miss a game or an episode of your favorite shows with the included cloud-based DVR. And here's what's great about it. There's no contract. There's no commitment. You can cancel at any time. So right now you can try Fubotv for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to Fubotv.com/SGP. That's Fubotv.com/SGP. And I've noticed we're back on the college football experience, but I have noticed, Patty C, that GBO Farms, I don't think is in the chat. GBO Farms, shout out to GBO Farms because he is a diehard Tennessee Vols fan, and shout out to Alan Cooley, who is a diehard Tennessee Volunteers fan.
Long-time fan.
I do not expect you to be listening to this podcast live because I expect you to be absolutely shit hammered right now. All right.
Knee deep in some hot Knoxville.
Yes. I don't even know that they're both in Knoxville, but yes, enjoy the win, my friends. Next up. So what do you make of Maryland? Maryland wins 38-33. Are they for real or is Kansas better than Maryland, Patty C?
Yes, but
Big 12 is the best conference this year. I will fight anyone on that. The Big 12 is the best conference in football.
They don't have the best team.
Yeah,
maybe TCU.
I don't know that they have the best team, but I'm saying that they're easily the deepest. Like this is the best conference.
If you
in football.
start at the top,
it is better than it is better than the SEC.
It's the deepest. If you start at the bottom,
Florida
it's easily
sucks.
the deepest.
Florida sucks.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt. Missouri sucks. Auburn sucks. All those teams, none of those teams would win. Like who's the worst team in the Big 12? Oklahoma. Oklahoma's better than all those teams we just named.
Kansas at this point.
I don't think so. I think Kansas is better than Oklahoma.
Well, they just played today.
I understand that, but they're one team's what 3-3, the other's 5-2.
Sure, true.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I agree with you entirely. The SEC would typically be your best conference, obviously. Who's the class of the SEC? We got Bama, we got Georgia, we got Ole Miss.
No, Tennessee.
Sorry, the top end of the SEC is still better than the top end of the Big 12.
Oh, but I don't care. You go 10 for 10. The Big 12 is going to have more.
Yeah,
if Texas is your middle of the pack team, they should have beat Bama. They got their quarterback knocked out, and the refs, even with their quarterback being knocked out, that was a fucking safety. That was a safety by Bryce Young. Now maybe he scores a touchdown and they beat Texas.
Yeah,
but you can't just tell me if they play again that you think Texas is like Alabama would definitely beat Texas.
No, dude, Texas could lose to several Big 12 teams this year. Who could Texas?
No, I'm saying though, if Bama plays Texas again,
I mean not Texas.
Yeah.
Bama could easily lose to several Big 12 teams this year. Who do we think Bama might be susceptible?
A lot of them because they have the offense. See, that's the problem. When I look at Auburn, when I look at Florida, when I look at Missouri, when I look at LSU, they don't have a good offense.
Yeah.
The Big 12 teams, all of them have a good offense that can put pressure on Bama's defense. All of them for the most part. Like
Oklahoma State, Kansas. I mean, TCU. I don't know. I'd have to do the math on how many points per game a lot of these teams are scoring, but I don't know that they all have super explosive offenses.
Dude, Oklahoma wouldn't have got goose egged if they had Dylan Gabriel.
That's true.
Jeff Lebby's offenses fly. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
saw what they did against Nebraska. You saw what they did today against Kansas. They had a blemish, actually a blemish against Texas because they didn't have Gabriel.
Yeah.
He was knocked out of the second half of the TCU game where they would have scored 40.
Right. We're not making excuses for Oklahoma in that game.
No,
They deserve
Alabama's
to lose.
better than Oklahoma, but I'm just saying that Oklahoma's offense, being that they're the worst team in the Big 12,
with Dylan Gabriel
is way better than like 6 offenses in the SEC.
Yeah.
And that puts enough fear in you. If you are not bringing your A game, they could put up 4. Like we saw Alabama's defense is not that legit, man. It's not that legit this year.
Yeah.
That's my point though, is the Big 12 is the best conference. I'll fight you on this. I will fight you all day on this. They don't have a bad team. There's bye weeks all throughout the fucking SEC.
Yeah. Iowa State is now in the basement of the Big 12 and
4 losses by 14 points.
they're a chippy ass team.
4 losses by 14 points. Okay, so that's the worst team. Dude, you tell me Iowa State plays Tennessee tomorrow. I don't know who's winning that fucking game.
I think you got to lean Tennessee.
Of course, I would favor them, but if you put that at a neutral site, I feel like that is less than a touchdown.
I think you're still fading Tennessee a little bit.
What do you mean? They played Pitt in overtime. Georgia Tech beat Pitt.
That's true. Maybe I'm just a little high on Tennessee recency bias, but I feel like Tennessee's has improved. They're
of course they're improved, but
Yeah.
also like if they're at home, they have a great home field environment.
Yeah.
And they played Florida at home, and they got Bama at home. They have an impressive win at Pitt, but that stadium never packs. It's like a fucking Boston College game.
Yeah.
And then you have the win at LSU, which was impressive. That was an impressive win.
Yeah.
Looks better today too.
Sure. I mean, I'm not a super believer in Tennessee yet.
Dude, if I'm saying I would take Tennessee to beat Iowa State, but I think that is, if I had to set that line, it would be like Tennessee -6.
I put it at like 9, but
dude, Iowa State was better than Texas today with Quinn Ewers. Alabama was not better than Texas with Quinn Ewers.
That's true. That is true. Look, I agree with you. I mean, no doubt, top to bottom, Big 12,
It's the best conference in football.
On average, the best teams.
It is the best conference in football. Every game is good.
Yeah.
You get Vanderbilt and Georgia today. That's a terrible game.
Well, let's look at the SEC and who we think is legit, who we think is
I
trash.
told you.
We're forgetting. All right, Georgia,
Legit.
Tennessee,
Legit.
Kentucky,
Fringe.
Okay. South Carolina,
No.
Florida,
No.
Vandy,
No.
Missouri.
No.
Okay, that's the East. So two legit and one fringe. SEC West, Ole Miss.
Fringe.
Give it to them. They're 7-0.
Fringe. They should have
Against
lost to
absolute
Kentucky,
trash.
man.
Okay.
They should have lost.
They should have.
Yeah.
I'll give you fringe for now.
Yeah.
They might go 7-5. We got to look at the rest of their schedule. It's gonna be hard for them. Alabama,
Yes.
LSU,
No.
5-2.
Look at that schedule. Southern New Mexico. Like, come on. Get out of here with some of this shit. They lost to Florida State.
Fringe.
They
though.
lost to Florida State. No, not fringe.
No,
No.
not legit.
They're not a good team.
They're as good as half the Big 12.
Who? Let's go.
right.
Iowa State's better than LSU. I would favor Iowa State to beat LSU.
All right, let me get back to the Big
Would
12.
you?
Iowa State, yeah, it's close.
I would favor Iowa
Neutral
State.
site. That's a coin flip. TCU, LSU, TCU, Kansas State, LSU,
Kansas
K
State.
State, Texas, LSU,
Texas.
Oklahoma State, LSU,
Oklahoma State.
Kansas, LSU,
Kansas.
with Daniels.
Yeah, with Daniels, definitely.
Without him,
They don't have enough offense. Even without him, I think it's a game because LSU is offensively challenged. I know you can see today's 42 points, but in general, they're offensively challenged. They only put up like 30 something on New Mexico.
getting their shit kicked by Tennessee is bad luck. West Virginia, LSU.
That's a game.
I'm going LSU.
I think I'm going WV. I think their offense is more consistent.
Baylor, LSU.
Baylor.
Texas Tech, LSU.
LSU.
Okay, Oklahoma, LSU,
Oklahoma.
and then Iowa State, LSU.
Iowa State.
So you're a little higher on the Big 12 than I am.
Well, yeah.
Or
but
maybe lower on LSU.
LSU's terrible, dude.
5-2, buddy.
That's the classic SEC thing, though. You play 4 shit ass out of conference games, and then you look at there. You're like, hey, I'm 5-2.
Let me see. Let me see LSU.
When you're beating Southern and New Mexico, yes, you beat Auburn, but they were outgained by 200 yards in the Auburn game.
And Auburn's mediocre at best.
The best win they have is Mississippi State. They have one good win right now.
Lost to Florida State.
They have one good win right now.
Southern.
Is Iowa State better than Florida State, Petty C?
Yeah, I would.
I
Say so.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, Southern. Mississippi State was a very good win.
Yes. But that looks a little worse after today.
Yeah, that's true. New Mexico, Auburn, Florida's a good win too.
No, they're not a good team.
You got to give a little credit.
Well, you really believe Florida's a
Look,
good team?
I'm taking a bonus shot for the fucking Dukes. Rest in peace. Perfect first season in the FBS. Fuck you, Georgia Southern.
I told you. Hey, that's what another thing.
I'm just an alcoholic. Let's be
How
honest.
about these FCS teams coming up though?
Doing great. We have an entire conversation we had today about the abolition or the secession from the NCAA and all the ramifications that could have on a lot of these teams that would allow a lot of FCS teams to come up and compete right away.
Noah's a Florida fan, and he goes, "Florida isn't good." Dude, if I've watched every Florida game this year, they are not a good football team.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Richardson.
I'll give you credit for winning at the Swamp because that's a hard place to win.
Yeah.
But if I had to rate them as a football team, They don't belong anywhere near the top 25. I wouldn't have them. I probably wouldn't rank them until the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. Well, Anthony Richardson is a better athlete than Bryce Young. He is more physically gifted than Bryce Young, both speed wise, probably similar, but certainly like physique wise, a much bigger, stronger guy. Does not operate as a quarterback nearly as well. Just not half the polish, not a quarter of the polish of Bryce Young. When he gets flushed out of the pocket, I don't know. He doesn't turn his shoulders upfield. He's just, I'm not like a quarterback analyst here, but I can see the guy and he doesn't have what it takes to like get it done.
Pat Kappa in the chat says Notre Dame versus LSU, a neutral site. Who wins?
That's a tough one.
That's a really tough one.
That's a coin flip.
I would love to see that in a bowl game because we know LSU will make a bowl game because they still have like another FCS on the schedule or something. They have UAB on the schedule later. Man, that's a tough game.
Notre Dame versus LSU in the Chimichanga Bowl this year. Both are going 6-6.
I mean, Florida is like Florida, Maryland. I think Maryland's better.
They beat Utah. I'm going to disagree with you.
Maryland's better.
No. You're a hater. You're a noted hater.
Maryland's offense can move though. Florida's offense can't move.
Maryland did keep it pretty close against Michigan.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Florida's offense can't move.
Yeah.
Can't move.
I'm still taking Florida there. All right, let's keep it going.
All right. Next up we have Liberty 21, Gardner Webb 20. Hey, Sunbelt. Just an idea for you. Just a fucking idea for you here. I know you might say, hey, Gardner Webb's 2-4. Who are these running Bulldogs? Right? Well, Gardner Webb played at Coastal Carolina week 2. It lost 31-27, Petty C. 4-point loss at Coastal. Gardner Webb played at Marshall. 28-7 loss, but I want you to know that this was a 14-7 halftime game. It was 21-7 in the fourth. Pretty much all the way. They scored with in the middle of the fourth. They played Marshall tough, and today they damn well almost beat Liberty. They were up late in that game. Very late in that game.
They put a very legit threat in them. Might have been a black guy.
Add Gardner Webb. Isn't that right by Charlotte? I don't even know where the hell Gardner Webb is, but
North Carolina.
I know, but I'm saying add them to the Sun Belt because this team is chippy. They played 3 FBSs and they look great against them. They didn't win any of the games, but damn, I'm a running Bulldogs fan.
Near Charlotte and Asheville is what it's saying. So
it's in Asheville, North Carolina.
Near Charlotte and Asheville. So Western.
They don't even put a city. We're out there.
Boondocks, North Carolina.
Patty C. Georgia 55, Vanderbilt 0.
Okay.
And by the way, now that JMU has lost, is Liberty the best team in Virginia?
Get the fuck out of here.
5-1.
Just because we went to a back-to-back road situation. ODU made it their case today as the best team in Virginia.
They beat Coastal.
We're gonna have to be playing them in a few weeks.
Yeah,
it's funny that there are 3 better teams in Virginia, and maybe 4. Maybe William and Mary is better than either UVA or Tech this year. What a shit ass state for football.
Justin Casey said this morning, Colby, you said Gardner Webb was worth the look, even though no line was up at the time, but I was on them. I listened. There we go. Shout out to the listeners, Justin Casey. Is Georgia the best team in college football still, Petty C? 55-0 against Vanderbilt. Is Vanderbilt any good?
There's nothing to take away from that. You might as well have beaten fucking
Charleston
what's the new one?
Lindenwood.
Lindenwood.
Sounds like a prison.
Yeah.
Don't send me to fucking Lindenwood.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a new FCS. Shout out to Lindenwood. They got another
23-hour lockdown.
Got a winning record. They're in,
shoe program.
They're in Missouri too.
Lindenwood.
Yeah, they're in Missouri. They come on up, man.
Yep.
Own St. Louis.
Let's go.
Arkansas 52, BYU 35. I did not see this coming. I mean, I knew BYU's defense was bad. I kind of thought this would be a 1-score game, and it kind of was in the first half, but Arkansas whooped their ass the second half. Shout out to Pulled Pork Pittman.
The mountains were no problem.
I should have bet that.
No Donner party.
There was just too much. I didn't know. What are you saying over there? KJ Jefferson. If I had known 100% that he was going to play, I might have bet on Arkansas. but I didn't. There was too many question marks out there.
I'm very disappointed in BYU this year.
Yeah, they're not very good. They might end up. Let's look at their schedule.
I thought 2 consecutive
4-3.
Yeah.
4-3, and then they're at Liberty next week. They're gonna lose.
That could be an L. That's
a 50-50.
Jaron Hall, wildly inconsistent, and just not that good of a quarterback.
Actually, they're the rest of their schedule, they can be all right.
That's a miss.
They're gonna end up like 8-4.
Okay,
something like that.
Kalani Sitake still on your top 25 coaches in college football. Was he ever there?
I was like, I don't think I ever put him there, but he's a good coach. I think he's
40.
solid.
Yeah,
He's a solid
40,
coach. Yeah. Arkansas, Patty C. You sold? What are they? 3-3?
No,
4-3. They're 4-3.
Well, it sold for what? Sold that they can, make a bowl.
Actually, Arkansas is better than LSU.
At their best, I think you're right.
They're better than LSU, dude.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State 40, TCU 43.
What a game.
Oh man. Oklahoma State was dominating this game for a long time.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped, like it was
Tuned
on the
out a little
screen. But I started to tune into that Savannah State
What
game.
was the time slot for that? That was the 12:30 Pacific. So we were watching Alabama, Tennessee a little more.
And I'll talk about the next game in a second here, but Oklahoma State was kind of like in control. I mean, at halftime they were up 24-13. End of the third, they were up 30 to 17. And then
were they up 14-0 right then? I kind of checked
14-0. Dude, at one point they were up 28 to 7. No, I'm sorry. They were up 24-7.
Yeah.
TCU scored right 7 seconds left before the half. Wow, what a great win. It's a great story. I was wrong on Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes, I owe you an apology. All right.
Well, I mean, look, that remains to be seen. We'll see what the long-term results for Sonny Dykes are.
Yeah, that's true. This is Gary's players.
Yeah. And look, I mean, Max Duggan, not an amazing performance, 24 of 30.
Pat Kappa also says Gardner Webb played 4 straight road games. Respect. That's what I'm talking about.
4 straight road games. Gosh,
that's doing it.
I bet Alabama has never played 4 straight road games in the history of their program. I'd be willing to bet heavy money on
Yeah, I feel pretty accurate with that statement.
Yeah.
Patty C, is TCU the best team in the Big 12?
I think you have to say yes at this point. They just beat the team that I would have thought would have been. Where was this game? This was at
this was in Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth. So you still might say Oklahoma State
next week
done at home.
Texas is in Stillwater.
Texas is in Stillwater.
Who are you taking?
That's a tough one. I think I'm going Oklahoma State there.
Then the next game for TCU, K-State comes to town.
It's a great game, man.
I told you the Big 12 is the best conference.
Big 12 is definitely the most entertaining.
Fuck you. It is the best conference in college football this year. Northern Illinois skunked my Eastern Michigan Eagles. The Eagles could not fly in any weather. 39-10. Shout out to
not a skunk.
Shout out to Rocky. I'm assuming Rocky Lombardi came back. I barely watched any of this game. No. Wait. Am I reading this correctly?
Let me get this right.
This can't be right.
Rocky Lombardi did play 11 of 15 for 115 yards. It's safe to say that he wasn't the cause for the majority of their scoring. I'm actually curious at this point how they did.
I see they scored on a pick 6 to start the game.
3 rushing touchdowns, but how do you get 18 points off of non-touchdowns? I'm guessing the kicker had a hell of a day.
Yeah, I don't know, but let's talk about this next team. NC State loses to Syracuse 24-9 in that filthy dome in upstate New York.
4 field goals, 3 extra points. Give it up for John Richardson in
John Big Dick Richardson. All right, getting it done. NC State, Patty C. I don't know if you know this, but Dino Babers is 6-0 and a 15-point win at home against NC State. Robert and I think Virginia had a coach underneath them that they could have passed the baton to right there.
Easily just handed the baton over.
Yeah. Instead, no, they go out and get a NASCAR driver. All right.
Oh boy. Syracuse, is Robert and I going to be there next year? We don't know, but this year they are playing with a little bit of magic.
Let's talk about this for a second. Syracuse's next 2 games are huge. at Clemson.
That's it. That's the game of the year in the ACC. Who'd have thunk it?
They're also home to Notre Dame. Actually, their remaining schedule is pretty brutal. I think they're going to end up 8-4.
Let me see. They got Notre Dame at Pitt, Florida State, at Wake, Boston College. Shit, they're 6-0. They're not losing 4 of their next. Let
me tell you, they lose to Clemson. They beat Notre Dame. They lose to Pitt. They beat Florida State. They lose at Wake Forest, and then the upset special no one sees coming. BC beats them in Boston.
Could be
back to back away. Cold weather. They're a dome team.
Could be a little bit of a rivalry, I guess. Not really, Syracuse.
Hey, but we hit Petty C. We just hit on the over on our lock show or on our team previews. Not our lock show, on our team previews. We did not lock up, but me and you came into it thinking we were going to ride the under. Yeah. And as we broke down the team,
we got it.
And Robert and I was like, hey, this team's going to hit the over.
Yeah.
And boom.
I feel pretty good about our preview series, like educating us on what to expect.
Nagels Bagels, how you doing, buddy? Next up,
the payoff is good.
Kent State gets rocked by Toledo. How about Toledo, man? Kent State was up early in this game. I feel like. Let me get the score for you here. They were up 21-0 at one point, right? Then they were up 28-7. And then Toledo scored 21 unanswered. And then Kent State adds a field goal. And then Toledo scores 24 unanswered again. Damn, this game was crazy. Toledo, watch out for your Rockets. They might win it all.
The Rockets are handling business. I know you are not a fucking fan, but let's give it up.
That's a wild game right there.
Is this if there was one fucking program in the MAC that is the true class of the MAC, is it the Toledo Rockets?
I think you're probably on something.
The Glass Bowl,
probably
the
on
best stadium, and
probably on to something.
Give it up for the Rockets.
Probably on to something.
And a great helmet.
Stop it. Texas State 14, Troy 17. Spavital. He loses, but it was a good game. But Troy, South Alabama sets up for a gigantic game Thursday night. This is going to be awesome. What do you make of this Texas State Troy matchup?
Let me see here. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I watched a single second of it. Some bigger fish to fry out there.
Don't you lie to me, man.
But Texas State, it's kind of surprising after the shellacking they put on App State. What, last week was it?
Yeah.
To come in. Well, Troy's a pretty damn good team, 5-2. A competitive game. Texas State, is Spavital working to save his job here? Well,
he lost, so I would say
3-4.
I think he needs to get to like 5 or 6. This is year 4. This is year 4, man.
You're Texas fucking State. What is Texas? Texas State
look
sounds
at
like
UTSA though. That's like an hour away, and look what they've done.
Where the fuck is Texas State?
San Marcos. It's like 45 minutes or an hour from Austin.
There are 8 people in San Marcos. Watch it be one of the biggest cities in the United States.
No, I'm telling you, I think you look around and you see UTSA doing what they do. I think you got to feel like, hey, that should be us.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: North Texas has been around a lot longer than fucking.
But North Texas makes
State.
Bowls almost every year. I feel like
Texas State is a nothing program.
What has he done? Pull up his record.
All right.
Pull up his record. Hang on for 1 second here for station. Pause for station ID.
Jake Spavital. Right. Sorry, I'm not a fan.
Hang on. And we're back on the College Football Experience Week 7 recap show. We're talking Jake Spavital on Texas State right now, which I'm sure all the fans are tuning in for. Little Bobcat football.
3-9, 2-10, 4-8, 3-4. This is his best winning percentage.
I know, but what are the 3 wins? I know the App State one's huge.
Now I got to pull that up.
He lost to Nevada.
What are they? Conference USA?
No, Sun Belt, buddy.
Sun Belt. Texas fucking State. They're a smear on the underwear of the Sun Belt right now. Let me see here. Texas State has beaten. God damn these pop-ups. FIU.
The worst team in the nation.
I don't even know who HCU is. The
Houston
Huskies,
Christian.
Houston Christian. Okay, and then
somehow App State.
App State.
Yeah,
right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
2 terrible teams, and then Appalachian
and a
State.
pretty fucking legit team. But they got their ass kicked by a few teams. But whatever.
I'm just saying he's got to get to 6. He's got to get to 6.
Southern Miss is probably a loss. ULM is a maybe on the road.
That's a maybe. They could win
on the road though. That's gonna be tough. South Alabama's a loss on the road. Arkansas State is gonna be tough.
That could be a win.
He's not getting a 6. And then Louisiana close out the season.
Well, then get him out of here.
Get him fired. Who do you bring in? Bring in fucking Art Briles.
Gary Patterson.
You want to win?
How about Kendall Briles?
Prove it.
Go young. Go with the youth.
True.
Patty C. Charlotte 20, UAB 34. Shout out to welcome to UAB, but the Blazers roll on. That was actually a close game. That was 27-20 in the fourth.
Talk about a dude that's might need to get canned. Will Healy. What's your thoughts on him? He's essentially the same dude as Jake Spavital.
No, both should be fired in my opinion. If it's up to me, what is you're fired.
Nice.
Western Michigan.
You did there.
Western Michigan whooped Middle Tennessee in the 100 miles of hate rivalry. Patty C, this is another bad look for Miami.
Where is Western Kentucky? What city?
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Bowling Green and Murfreesboro.
Great.
Who knew?
Johnny Red Floyd Stadium.
So much hatred between those two towns.
Austin Reed and West. Well, I'm really impressed with Western Kentucky this year. I know they're just 4-3, but they should have beat Indiana, and then they did beat FIU by 73. They lost to Troy by 7. They lost to UTSA by 3. Come on, this team's good.
35.
They're going to play for
this.
They're going to play in the CUSA championship.
Impressive.
I'm really impressed with.
Wait, is it still Tyson Helton at the helm?
Yeah, the Helton brothers.
Helton brothers holding it down. They need
to hang out with Gary Patterson and do an album.
That's right. You came up with a great name for Gary Patterson's band. What did you call it?
That's why the Helton brothers should do it, right?
But Gary Patterson.
Pick six, right? It's six string
guitar with a
guitar pick.
Pick 6. That's pretty much what he does. Aggressive defense. You're a genius.
Hear my love songs.
You are a marketing genius.
Patty C. Ohio 33, Western Michigan 14.
Ohio 33, Western Michigan 14. Sorry, Mac.
Bobcats. Doing it.
Not on my radar. You're
a hater. You've been a hater of the MAC for a long time.
I sat
JMU
with you.
Couldn't cut it in the MAC.
I sat with you all day long. You did not mention this game to me once today.
Yeah, but I had the other ones on.
Okay.
But you were also at work. Don't come in here thinking that.
What time was this kick?
This is early.
This is an early
You were
kick?
still at work, all right?
True.
Yeah. You can go to hell with the handbasket. What did they say? Something like that.
Something like that.
Patty C. Let's talk about this. Here. South Dakota State 23, North Dakota State 21. They shut them out in the second half. North Dakota State was up 21-7 at halftime.
Boom.
And the Jackrabbits make it 3 in a row against the Bison, including 2 in a row at North Dakota State.
Ouch.
That's the first time in 108 years of playing each other
that they've won.
This game was fantastic. This is what I'm talking about.
This is one of the best rivalries in football, period.
Shout out to the FCS because I didn't have an Arena Football League score. It was 23-21. Came down to the last fucking drive, and there was good defense played throughout the whole game. It was fantastic.
23-21 is probably the most entertaining score you could possibly have in a football game.
17-13. I've been saying it for a long time.
Well, at 17-13, you can't win. I guess no, you're right, because you have to get that touchdown.
Yes, you got to get the touchdown. Can't kick the field goal. 17-13, perfect score of a game. Patty C, I also want to touch base on Idaho. Shout out to the Vandals. They came into Montana and got the dub. Huge weekend in the FCS. Stick around, listen to our FCS show for that one. But okay, back to what we got going on. Michigan State 34, Wisconsin 28 in overtime. This game was highly entertaining.
Fucking awesome.
Highly entertaining.
It was like one that was just on the screen that we're paying attention to all the other games, but it kept popping out, being like, damn.
It's like crazy plays happening back and forth.
Michigan State, great uniforms today.
Yeah.
How about
great double drop by your defensive backs in the end zone. But you still won the game.
Yeah. Found a way to screw that game-winning play up. How about Michigan State and Mississippi State wearing the exact same helmets today?
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Script State. Hey, how about not wear your throwback uniforms or whatever the fuck that was on the same day? Do a little consulting.
Yeah.
Do a little market research there.
Michigan State, Patty C in Wisconsin. So Jim Leonard, what do you think? Should the fans be a little worried?
Mississippi State.
Or Wisconsin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yes, they should be worried. I mean, is Jim Leonard? They fired their coach.
Yes.
What do you mean? Should they be worried?
Well, no. This is his. No. This is his audition. He looked great. Graham Mertz threw for 5 touchdowns his first week, which was last week at Northwestern. Back to back away. Should they not panic when they lose in overtime to a Michigan State team that sucks ass?
I mean, if you're thinking that Jim Leonhard is the obvious choice as the replacement for Paul Chryst, and you're expecting him to produce week in, week out with a team that has been mediocre, then you're an idiot. But B, yeah, I guess you should be a little concerned. Although Michigan State, let's be honest, is still talented. You know,
I mean,
I feel has Michigan State had a hard schedule. Now I got to pull them up. No,
their wins are against Western Michigan. So Western Michigan in East Lansing, then at Akron and East Lansing, then at Washington, then home to Minnesota, then at Maryland. I would say the past 2 weeks maybe, but Wisconsin's not.
Dude, their losses are at Washington, decent. They only lost by 11. Granted, that was dressed up.
I remember Washington kind of
Minnesota
recently,
Maryland at Maryland, and Ohio State.
So wait a second. A minute ago, you told me Maryland wasn't any good. Now you're telling me they're good.
I'm saying Maryland.
You figure yourself out over there.
Mediocre team. I'm not saying
Michigan State should beat Maryland every fucking year, Pat.
Yes, they should. Michigan State is not living up to their expectations this year. But
you want to crown them, you crown them.
It doesn't mean they're a complete shit team. And
they're not bowling this year, are they?
If they're a slightly below average Power 5 team, which maybe they are, and Wisconsin is losing to them in double overtime with the interim coordinator, I don't think we need to press the panic button on fucking Jim Leonhard just yet.
All right, next up, James Madison 38.
Shut your
Georgia
fucking mouth.
Southern 45. Where's my music? Where's my music here? Yes, Sunbelt is
Don't
here.
ruin this song for me.
Sunbelt is here.
Don't ruin this song for me. That's my favorite song.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked.
And you know, a team that passes for 575 yards, doesn't deserve that classic NFL.
That's true.
Fucking
That's true.
mutter music. I want to see still though. I didn't look it up. I know we were dominating the total yardage early on in this game, and
I got it all right here, buddy.
We got a block punt for a touchdown. There's a little feather in your cap for special teams making the difference, and that was the difference in the game.
Total yards. JMU 675, Georgia Southern 590.
So wait, they had 575 passing yards and 15 rushing yards. We do
12
rushing yards. We have the number one rush defense.
How do you lose to a team?
But that didn't help today.
Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You know what hurt you? Todd Centeio threw 3 picks and you had a block punt for a touchdown.
It hurt, but I've never been more like pissed off at a defensive coordinator. I've never been less impressed with a defensive coordinator than JMU's guy. He literally just sat there and he didn't throw it. He didn't dial anything up. He just watched them pick us apart. It wasn't even like we were doing interesting, exotic things in the defensive backfield to try and generate like turnovers. It was just like sit back, give them a big cushion and let them march down the field and hopefully play bend don't break football. And they took full advantage of it every fucking drive for like the entire game.
Patty C, if JMU played Florida right now, who would win?
JMU.
I think JMU would too.
Yeah. I think we better have a better defensive scheme than we had though.
Tulane 45, South Florida 31. We did not cover on this one. I thought I would be able to cover the 13, but
South Florida better than we're giving them credit for. What's his name?
Well, they didn't cover today.
Wait, what was the score?
They lost by 14.
What was the?
I think 12 and a half.
Wait, we took Tulane to cover.
No, we took South Florida.
Never mind. I'm a fucking idiot.
Pratt threw for 329. Those golden locks.
He's a handsome son of a bitch, isn't he? He's doing great. What are they? 6-1.
They are 6-1.
Are they a legit
with a win at K-State?
They're the American.
Yeah,
they could win the American. Did they play Cincinnati in the regular season?
I think they might. Let me pull that up right now. But this is Tulane's song for the AAC. Fight for your life.
Fuck yeah.
They play Cincinnati on the final game of the season. Watch
Friday
out.
night at Nippert.
Watch out. That's gonna be cold though for Tulane.
Tulane's a better team than Cincinnati.
They don't know cold weather. They are better.
Yeah. I agree.
Louisiana Tech 27, North Texas 47. Seth Luttrell, the battle of Leach assistants or Leach players, not assistants.
Talk about fight for your life. Seth Luttrell staying alive.
What is this record right now? Am I seeing 4-3? Hey, they're gonna go 6-6, make the Chimichanga Bowl. Make the Goodyear Tires Bowl.
And the good people
Right?
of Denton, Texas, are gonna want him fired.
Meanwhile,
He's not 12-0.
Meanwhile, he's carving out bowl winning teams every year.
Fucking morons.
Actually, I think they lose a lot of their bowl games. But Arizona 39, Washington 49. Patty C. This game was pretty wild. Arizona missed a field goal late. These teams passed the hell out of the ball. But and I see it's pouring rain in the Dodger game. But hey, let's talk Arizona, Washington. Washington, they're really good at home. They suck on the road. Funny how that works, Patty C.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds kind
So they played 2 road games. They're 0-2 on the road. That's what happens when you go on the road. Patty C. Rice 14, Florida Atlantic 17. We were wrong on this, but we did cover because we got 3.5. Willie Taggart gets it done.
What is Florida Atlantic's record right now?
3-4.
Just not worth.
He might be on the hot seat still.
I guess Florida Atlantic after Lane Kiffin has some higher expectations, but I still feel like they're a decent team. Rice has been a good team. That's a good win.
It is a good win.
Yeah.
LSU 45, Florida 35. Patty C, your thoughts?
Entertaining.
That's a lot of points for 2 shitty offenses.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels threw for 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. Your boy Anthony Richardson threw for $185.
You know what's interesting is my takeaway from this game is even though one team lost and one team won, like every other game that's ever been played, I'm still unimpressed with both teams at the end of this game.
Yeah, I came into it, not impressed, and then obviously,
this reinforced that somehow.
South Alabama took down ULM. Petty C. Like I said, this score was 34-20 in the 4th, but ULM did dress it up a little bit, and they got the cover.
I want to look at some box scores.
Never fade Bowden in a big game. He covers.
It's a rule as old as time. Let me see if my guy made the stat sheet. No Ginarius Johnson on the stat sheet. Unfortunate.
South Alabama had 615 yards of offense. Getting it done.
South Alabama 5-1. I talked about this team during.
I am 1 win away from my over. That's one of my locks.
You locked up South Alabama.
Yeah, over 5.5 wins.
That's a hell of a lock,
dude.
right
I am kicking ass on that. I hope you subscribe to our season long locks episode because the only one that's really in doubt is that Akron one. Think the rest, I'm good. Patty C.
South Alabama is fucking awesome. When you consider that they should have beaten,
they were
UCLA,
better than UCLA the whole game, dude.
Yep.
The whole fucking game.
They're the best team in the Sun Belt.
They play Troy Thursday night.
Is that
we'll
the
find
team
out.
you were saying that was?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think South Alabama is.
Watch out.
What are they doing offensively? Or
they actually have been using 2 different quarterbacks. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Troy. Carter Bradley, the Toledo transfer. Yeah.
25 of 33, 420 yards, 3 touchdowns. That works.
Yeah. Arkansas State 19, Southern Miss 20. Patty C. We watched the end of this one as Will Hall. Shout out to Will Hall, the last coach in college football in the FBS that wears a tie, a shirt and a tie.
Yeah.
We need to bring that style back, baby.
It is.
Let's go.
You know who has style is fucking Southern Miss with the giant names on the back of the jerseys.
They're cool. They're a cool team.
You know what?
They've always been a cool team.
I want to see a team do this. The giant numbers on the front of the jersey, the giant TV numbers like the 80s Jets, right? On the shoulders, and then the giant name on the back of the jersey. Just fucking max out everything. So fucking fire.
It's like the Costco of jerseys.
Yeah.
Patty C, Utah State 17, Colorado State 13. I lost a shit ton of money on this one because I lead 11 points in Colorado State. I'm sorry, with Utah State. Utah State still got the dub. And believe it or not, Utah State still looking all right for the picture in the Mountain West.
What's their record?
They're 3-4, I believe.
What did they start 0-4? What?
They beat UConn, and then they lost to Bama, Weber State, and UNLV, and BYU. But that UNLV game, let me tell you, man, that UNLV game. Look at this stat line. They had they had what 5 interceptions and 2 fumbles. They were better than UNLV. They just gave them every fucking opportunity. Anyway,
5 interceptions and 7 fucking turnovers.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Jeez.
Utah State gets the dub.
So they're 3-4 now.
Yeah, but they are, I think, 2-1 in the Mountain West.
That would be
with a win over Air Force, a win over Colorado State, and a loss to UNLV.
Hell of a fun season for Utah State if they came back and won it.
Clemson 34, Florida State 28. I didn't realize that Florida State actually came back and made this somewhat respectable.
Yeah. You're right about Travis.
Jordan Travis. Not elite. I think you sleep on him a little bit. I think he's a serviceable quarterback. Yeah.
But let's talk about this. How many more games does Mike Norvell have to lose before he lands himself on the hot seat?
Can we talk about a critical game going on? They have a bye week next week, but then they take on Georgia Tech. That's a big game.
Dude, Georgia Tech, who's doing well, at Miami and at Syracuse. If they lose 6 games in a row,
Louisiana's not terrible.
Sure. And then Florida. I mean, they could lose their last 8 games. They could start 4-0 and can finish 4-8. But either way, if this dude's not bowling, he is toast. And prime time. Do you see Shedeur Sanders
today?
Stat line?
I know they blew him out.
I need to pull that up, but he was absolute fire again today. But I will pull that up.
Well, let me tell you what else is absolute fire. All right. I want to tell you that the college football experience week 7 recap show is brought to you by Odds Trader. Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to ensure that you get yourself the best deal possible. The app provides key player stats, game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather for bettors who make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker so bettors can keep records of all your games and betting activity. So check out Odds Trader. All right. Go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. Odds Trader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. Patty C,
not as great as I thought. Shedeur Sanders, but pretty good. 36 of 48.
Playing fucking Bethune-Cookman.
36 of 48. Yeah. Only 272.
They should not be playing that.
How do you complete 36 passes for 272 yards?
Screen.
Yeah. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Patty C, Purdue 43, Nebraska 37.
Pretty
Purdue's 5-2. NC Nick's gonna win the bet. You think it's gonna be the Illini?
You're wrong.
I like Purdue's remaining schedule a lot, man.
Let's
if they can win this next one, watch out.
Big Ten, Purdue coming up.
They have an easier schedule, I think, than Illinois.
Okay, let me get it.
Because Illinois got to go to Michigan. If Purdue can find a way to get the win at Wisconsin, which is tough.
At Wisconsin, not that tough this year.
But I think that's a big one there.
Hosting Iowa after a bye week.
They're gonna beat Iowa. Yeah.
Are you very sure about that?
Iowa's offense sucks.
I think
Iowa in Iowa City is different. Iowa on the road.
I'm taking Iowa to win that game right now.
I'm not.
All right.
At Illinois, I'll take Illinois to win that.
Yeah.
But the thing is then they get Northwestern and Indiana.
They win both of those. So really,
dude, this team should be undefeated right now. When you consider their bullshit loss where Syracuse had a drive of pass interferences that were all questionable calls, and then the Penn State bullshit.
I mean, really, the Big Ten West race will be decided in 3 weeks when Purdue travels to Illinois. It's gonna be a great fucking game, and I'm glad it's 2 teams that aren't traditionally probably the basement of
boiler up, buddy.
Boiler up. Here we go. I'm not going to drop it.
I know,
right,
buddy.
I'm still going to take the half shot. I'm down to half shots. Come
on. Next up, we got Mississippi State 17, Kentucky 27. Mississippi State let me down, man.
Look, Mike Leach.
That offense wasn't working today. They had a pick 6, so they only had 10 points of offense.
Well, they're checking down and
doing all this cha-cha stuff.
Cha-cha shit. Throw the ball down the field. Air raid, they're not mixing in any run. It didn't seem like. I want to check the stats to see if that's true.
Well, they ran for 22 yards. They only passed for 203 though. They only had 225 yards of offense.
The offense sucked. And the other thing is they're going to play like
they got their ass beat today.
It's funny to see the air raid in a fucking, in a low scoring like battle, and that's kind of what that was. Ball control game. But they got blasted physically by Kentucky.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Rodriguez is a beast.
Yeah.
Patty C, Memphis 45, ECU 47. What let's just go ahead and just play the music, my friend, if I could find it. They didn't cover for me, and your boy Mike Houston. Yes, we did miss an extra point again today. The streak is still fucking on. I blame the coach. All right.
Yeah. Whatever the problem is, they missed another extra point today,
and it cost them. They shouldn't have been in overtime.
7 games.
Yeah. 6 times in 7 games. It sounds like a Harrison Ford movie. And Patty C.
That's unbelievable.
He calls a timeout. So we have 21 seconds. 21 seconds.
This is the best thing I've ever
Memphis scores and ties the game up, and they still have to kick the extra point. And Mike Houston, we have 1 timeout left.
Yeah, Mike in a decent return.
He decides to burn the timeout to ice the extra point kick. Like what? What? And then sure enough, we do get a decent return.
Yeah.
And then Holton Ahlers completes a pass for like 14 yards. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, if we had a timeout right now, we could be in field goal range.
Run out of time at their 47-yard line instead of being able to
complete. This is a terrible coaching job.
Yeah. That was comically bad. To
ice the extra point? I haven't seen that in high school.
Right. I mean, between the missed extra point, which obviously you're going to call out, and then right in the critical moment, icing the extra point, there's a coaching problem with special teams with Mike Houston. But he still got the fucking
Got the dub.
So let me ask you that. All his special teams errors, he still got the dub. Is he a decent coach?
No. We should have won by more, man. We had to sweat this out.
You can't fucking please this guy.
We had to sweat this out.
You can't fucking please him.
Stanford 16, Notre Dame 14.
Wait. We need to get your Mike Houston 1 to 10 rating scale.
4.
He's still at a 4.
You can't. When we have a game, when we have 2 games, 4 and 3. When we have 2 games in a row where we do not miss an extra point, maybe
he'll jump up a notch. Fair enough. We're on the extra point lookout here.
Extra point lookout. That's why you subscribe to the College Football Experience. We go through each and every extra point. All right. Stanford 16, Notre Dame 14. Patty C. Notre Dame is 3 and 3. Can we go back through this? So Notre Dame gets UNLV next week. 4 and 3, right?
Yeah.
At Syracuse.
Could be a loss. Probably a loss.
4 and 4.
Yeah.
Home to Clemson.
I bet they get one of those at Syracuse or home to Clemson. I think they do.
They just lost to Stanford.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe 0-2 in that stretch.
So that would put them at what? 4 and
5.
4 and 5 at Navy
versus Navy in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They'll certainly get one of those 3. So I'll say
5
and 5.
Boston College.
They win that.
USC
6 and 6. Ouch.
They have no room for error. If they lose to either UNLV, Navy, or Boston College, watch out.
Marcus Freeman doesn't go bowling. Does the milk start to sour earlier than expected?
Perhaps. Patty C. USC 42, Utah 43. This game was absolutely.
This was excellent.
This was a great game, despite the fact that neither of these teams could play any fucking defense. It made me want to vomit at several times, but it still was highly entertaining. Came down to the final second of the game.
Give Cam Rising some credit.
One of these refs add like 5 seconds magically.
That was the
Tell me I'm not a conspiracy theorist over here. Tell me that would never happen to Iowa State.
Right.
Would that ever happen to Iowa State?
There's an interception on the field, right? A false timeout by the referee in the middle of an interception,
which we never saw footage of.
Yeah.
We never saw
which
footage
I've
of
never heard of in all my life.
So then the return is not. So the play stops then.
Yeah, and they stop the clock in the middle of the interception, which is like even the Utah fucking home clock. I don't know, man.
I'm just saying, if that was Iowa State, they wouldn't get the 5 seconds back.
Sure, USC was given every opportunity to get back in that game, but credit to Kyle Whittingham for going for 2.
Yeah,
it was big dick energy.
Gotta reward that. Patty C is who's the top 2 teams in the Pac-12?
Let me pull up these standings here real quick.
This is tough.
Oh gosh, I gotta get back to standings.
Yeah, Pat Kappa. How the hell do you call timeout while the play is still going on?
Yeah,
it made no sense to me. It honestly,
Who called the timeout?
It
Was it the
reminded
coach?
me-
Was it the ref?
Dude,
What?
tell me I'm not a conspiracy theorist here. I sound like a fucking crazy guy that
No.
like. Tell that between the Texas game and the
No,
USC
if you
game
know
today, I'm sitting
anything
there
about
like, what the
football-
hell is happening here?
Yeah.
This is bullshit. I've never. How many hours of football do you think we've watched? I've never seen a timeout while the play is happening.
Yeah. And then honor that.
And then honor where they called the timeout.
Typically,
like
they would
honor
like
the spot on the field where the player was, and so automatically the rest of the play is over.
Wait, they didn't do that, did they? They didn't take it back to the spot of the.
Well, they didn't because there was a penalty on that play,
Okay.
so that was irrelevant. But I'm saying is that they stopped it right there.
Yeah. No, that was absurd.
They stopped it in the middle of the interception.
Yeah. We looked at it because the clock.
It wasn't like a knee was down. The guy was running.
Here's what happened. Let's explain it for people who didn't watch it. There's probably 15, 16 seconds left at the start of the play. USC throws an interception.
Yes, they called pass interference.
called pass interference.
Terrible pass
Right.
interference. He didn't pass interfere.
The ball is intercepted with 13 seconds left. The clock guy doesn't run the clock at all for Utah for some reason. I guess he thinks the ball is down, so that it stays at 12 seconds for like
5 seconds.
5 seconds. And the guy runs out of bounds. They start running the clock and then he runs out of bounds with 8 seconds left. Then they reset the clock to 13 seconds. It should have been at like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It should have been 4 seconds left on the clock. But
It was bullshit.
either way,
Shout out to Brock Hjord. Can we talk
Brock
about
Hjord is the man.
the new favorite analyst?
Janet Canal, Brock Hjord. Who else is like on the cut?
And what's ironic is they're former quarterbacks. They're quarterback truthers. Brock Hjord making doing a great job of basically calling out how ridiculous the roughing the passers and the targeting
Just
calls
like
are.
the most perfect execution of defense, and they're throwing penalties on it.
Yeah,
And it's great to see a quarterback, especially
agreed. Him and Cannell.
Yeah.
If they're in a fan club, I might start writing them letters.
Yeah.
All right. If they have a fan club,
they're among
they're
my
in a fan
favorite. Yeah, we are the fan club. They're great. Good. Thank you guys.
yeah. All right, Patty C. I'm gonna play some of my music here. Wait, I shouldn't play it yet. New Mexico State beats New Mexico. Now, did I have a small wager on New Mexico -6.5? I did, but I don't care because I have a large wager on New Mexico State over 2.5 wins.
Did they hit it today?
Well, they're at 2,
They're at 2 now.
But check us out. Lamar is still on the schedule. They're an FCS school that's 0-6.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna count my chickens before they hatch, but they have UMass and Lamar on the schedule. I think I'm gonna get myself out of this.
When I see Lamar, all I can think of is the guy on Revenge of the Nerds with the little wobbly javelin. That's a beatable team.
Shout out to them in that rivalry game there. What is that? The Battle of the I-40 or some shit like that. I don't know. We had that on. We had that on here. We had that on
I said in the Wednesday episode that I haven't watched a minute of New Mexico or New Mexico State football. We put it on the TV. I still don't think I saw a single play of it. I saw like
you're
a
hammered.
timeout.
You're totally shit hammered. North Carolina at Duke. Patty C. This one hurt. I mean, look, I had Duke +7. It cashed, but I also had Duke money line.
This is a terrible ending.
Duke had this game. Duke had this game won. They're inside the 5. Like they have a brand new set of downs inside the 10. Yeah. They end up with like a 3rd and 16. I'm assuming they missed the field goal because we were watching the end of the USC game.
Yeah.
But we jump back and Carolina's got the ball at like the 15-yard line. So I'm like, they had to miss the field goal or they fumbled, one of the two, right? And I'm assuming it was a missed field goal because the last play I saw was 3rd and 16, right?
Yeah.
Carolina then converts. Like, was there a minute left? The minute left. So if the kicker made that field goal, then they would have been Duke would have been up 7.
Yeah.
If Duke had found a way to get in the end zone, they would have won the game.
Carolina drives 80
Convert
yards.
a 4th down and 7 or something. Yeah. It was insane.
Josh Downs, meanwhile, talk shit to the referee's face. Talk shit to the defensive back's face for like 15 seconds.
No flag. No flag. But also, how about this? The receiver steps out, I think.
Yeah.
I think he stepped out a tiny bit.
How about this? High definition cameras for every single angle except the one that you really need.
I do agree with this though. The ref that was right, he was staring this right he couldn't have missed this call.
He's
but
3
he might have.
feet away.
Yeah.
It's his only job.
And he gets it wrong. And North Carolina, by the way, I have a plus 700 ticket for North Carolina to win the Coastal.
Wow.
No, I don't want to celebrate yet. But it's looking better and better and better.
All you're bitching, and yet you're winning money from this.
Hey, let's go. Patty C. Oregon State 24, Washington State 10. The
Impressive.
Beavers moved to 5-2.
I mean, they should have beaten USC, and they should be one of the teams
6-1. Yeah,
very much in the chase of the Pac-12 championship game.
If they beat Oregon later in the year, there could be some kind of crazy tie shit going on.
Well, let's look at the Pac-12 standings. UCLA 3-0 in conference, Oregon 3-0 in conference, USC 4-1 in conference, Utah 3-1 with a tiebreaker over USC in conference. After that, you get your 2 loss teams, and there's a
Oregon
bunch
State.
of them. Yeah,
but I still think like if you pull up, like Utah plays at Washington State next week, that's a dangerous game for Utah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No doubt.
Like, so you could still find this thing getting all crazy and wacky.
UCLA seems like they're in the very much of the driver's seat, and they host US. What's
they still haven't hit the road. They're like Texas. You can't trust them yet.
Wait. Let me see.
They went at Colorado. That's it. They've been on the road one time.
One time it was at Colorado. So
meanwhile, Purdue's played 9 away games. This is ridiculous.
Remaining upcoming schedule. Well, after this bye week, they go to Oregon. So we're gonna find out a lot about UCLA next week. Probably a loss. Hosting Stanford at Arizona State. Fortunate they
Arizona State though beat Washington in the desert.
Still a threat. Hosting Arizona, hosting USC, and at Cal. Next week's the hardest game on their schedule.
Well,
College
the
game day
USC
should be at fucking Oregon next week.
Patty C. Air Force 42, UNLV 7.
Air Force 42, UNLV 7. Okay. Brad Roberts, how many did he rush for?
Oh man, I don't know, but Air Force was whooping their ass. It was absolutely beautiful to see.
Game was like 28.
Suck that clock. The undercashed, Patty C.
Roberts.
The undercashed.
Brad Roberts only 144 rushing yards, but
and Dryden says Oregon State's going to win out from here. And by the way, he says game day is in Eugene next week.
Nice.
So
there it is.
Petty C, the other scores going on right now: Fresno State 14, San Jose State 10.
Surprising.
We might have a little upset going on. And then my. I have a plus 210 ticket on Hawaii that I'm sweating right now as they're up 8 and we still have 2 quarters of football, but
wait, do you have the over or the under?
Money line. They were 6.5 point dogs. Yeah.
Who are they playing?
Nevada. You're Wolfpack. Oh,
I don't even know who I took in this game.
You're a fucking joke.
Drunk.
All right.
I'm getting drunk.
Yeah, you're doing 30 shots. That's what happens.
It
all
feels
right.
good.
That's what happens when JMU loses.
Yeah,
you
gotta
prick
drown
bastard.
away your fucking sorrows.
All right, Patty C. Biggest takeaways from this week.
My biggest takeaways, honestly.
Yeah,
I want to hear yours first because I haven't really formulated.
Well, I've said this to me. I just said like to me the road. This is obvious that my case.
Yeah.
That I always present here. Say you go on the road, you lose. So if you play less road games, it corrupts your path to the college football playoffs or a top 10 or a fucking Orange Bowl or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of shit
Way
until we
more
have a
so-
large playoff.
Yeah.
You like right now, can you honestly, like we could go through so many, we just went through a bunch.
Who are the top 10 teams that lost on the road this weekend?
Okay. Let me pull up the top 25. Hang tight here. Okay. AP top 25. Alabama at Tennessee, loss. USC at Utah, loss. Oklahoma State at TCU, loss. Penn State at Michigan, loss. And those are all your top 10 teams. But right after
That clears out the top 10 significantly.
right after that, how about this? Number 15, NC State goes on the road, lost. Number 16, Mississippi State goes on the road, lost. Number 19, Kansas goes on the road, lost. Number 25, James Madison goes on the road, lost.
Fuck you.
Hey, did anybody actually win on the fucking road this week in the top 25? Who?
It's true.
Who? Clemson. Clemson won at Florida State by 6.
but that wasn't against a high.
I'm just saying they had to go. They're the only team that won on the road, I think, in the top 25
of the entire top 25. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a plug.
They're the only team that won on the road out of the whole top 25 is the Clemson Tigers. Give them a national championship. Let's go.
My main takeaway from the weekend is that it's a pretty crazy season. You know, it's not quite 2007 status. We haven't had like the number 1 or 2 team lose week after week after week, but we're whittling away. When you have 4 top 10 teams lose in a week, that's fucking significant, especially halfway through the season. Usually by this point, you've established a pecking order that like is pretty solid. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for the rest of the season, but even who's left undefeated? Who are the teams?
Clemson.
We got Georgia,
Tennessee,
Ohio State, Clemson, Tennessee. Yeah.
Michigan. Do you notice something that's ironic about almost all of those teams?
They never play road games, but those are coming because the conference slate.
I think Tennessee has 2 road games right now they've played. That's probably actually a lot compared to Ohio State's played 1.
Fuck Michigan, man. They're such bitches. Like as much as I want to root for Michigan and Harbaugh, you know, that's a fucking bitch move to cancel the UCLA game.
Yeah.
And just
how great would have that game been?
Yeah, that would have been a heater. That would have been your regular season playoff that people hype, you know.
That's all nonsense though. Because the teams that play 4 away games normally end up in the top 10. And the teams that play 6 away games normally end up in the 30s.
That's why we say schedule manipulation eliminates
a large playoff.
Yeah, that's why you need
cast a net of honesty.
Yeah, exactly.
Patty C next week, Syracuse at Clemson. What are the Q's chances of winning that game?
Why can't I get this fucking pulled up?
What are the Q's chances of winning that game?
Going to Clemson winning that. I give them 46% chance of winning that game.
Kansas at Baylor. Who are you taking?
Daniel's out still, presumably.
I think he's out for the season.
He's done.
Buddy. Yeah. Or at least for till November.
Baylor 75%, 74%.
Iowa at Ohio State.
Ohio State went by 55 points. Yep.
Cincinnati at SMU. Patty C. Dangerous.
A little dangerous. Cincinnati's got some holes, but they get the dub.
Duke at Miami.
The at factor is a little bit of a thing.
It's not a tough place to play. Duke's gonna win. I'll make a wager with you. Duke wins that game.
I'm all shotted up.
I don't even need the line.
Okay,
they're gonna win. Let's go West Virginia at Texas Tech. The wacky Big 12. Who are you taking?
On the road, I gotta go Texas Tech.
Purdue at Wisconsin.
Give me Purdue to come in to Madison and get it done.
UCLA at Oregon. Ole Miss at LSU.
That's a tough one. What do you think?
I'm gonna go LSU.
Wow, he shits on LSU for the whole fucking episode, and then he takes them.
Well, I told you,
undefeated team.
Ole Miss. I'm not convinced about. Like, I watching that game today. I'm like, I still don't know.
You're right. I don't know who I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Ole Miss.
Memphis at Tulane. Texas, Oklahoma State. Marshall, JMU.
Bounce back spot.
I think you're right. Mississippi State, Bama.
Bama kills them.
Minnesota, Penn State. Any chance Minnesota gets back into the mix?
It's in State College.
Yeah.
No.
UCF at ECU.
We're riding. No, I don't know. Yeah, let's talk about that ECU running back. What's his name?
Keaton Mitchell.
Guy's not getting enough shine. He is a true fucking flea.
He is fast as hell.
He is fastest
player they said in college football this year. So
guy deserves a little shine.
Yes, definitely. Kansas State at TCU. That's a game.
That is a game.
That's a game.
What a quarterback battle. I mean, I guess you can't give that much credit to Martinez, but
I can't wait to watch that.
In the Kansas State system, I think he's great.
That's a great game.
It is.
So that's our week. I mean, it's not the greatest of weeks, but hey, let's roll. Let's roll. All right, folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. Tell a friend. And also remember, the college basketball season is getting closer and closer and closer. November 7th, that season tips. A bunch of previews are coming out. I've been busting my ass over here. knocking down previews. So subscribe to the College Basketball Experience and check out your favorite team preview, and tell a friend. Season tips. I'll be breaking down college basketball games every single night of the season. Yes, every single night of the season. Pick motherfucking Dundee will be
in the house
live, talking best bets, talking greatest games, talking great rivalries. Oh, and shout out to the people in Knoxville. They're partying. Shout out to Alan Cooley and GBO Farms. And
what is the most common baby name that is currently being procreated at this exact moment? Who deserves that?
Hendon.
Hendon is about to become one of the most popular names in Tennessee.
Yes, either that or there's a lot of hookers going on, right?
Yeah.
Right. There we go. Folks, check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Also, remember to subscribe to us on YouTube, the College Football Experience and the College Basketball Experience and the College Baseball Experience. Shout out to Noah Beanick. All have come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Check out all of our platform right now. Sports are rolling right now. MLB Gambling Podcast, as that season continues to roll on in the postseason. NFL Gambling Podcast. NBA season's right around the corner. NBA Gambling Podcast with Terrell Furman Jr. Shout out to him. What else? NHL Gambling Podcast. They're doing fantastic work over there. I listen all the time to get some picks. CFL, the road to the Grey Cup happening there. Shout out to CFL Jim and Rod Villagomez.
We got the best.
Yes, and if you get the SGPN app, you'll get, which is free, you can get access to all of that, but also Soccer Gambling Podcast.
We got all the idiots.
Yes, we love idiots, and the Soccer Gambling Podcast is right. Look, the World Cup is right around the corner. And then you have the MLS Gambling Podcast. MLS is currently in their playoffs. I don't know if you know that or not, but check that out. Check out all of them. Check out the MMA Gambling Podcast. Patty C's, give him a follow on Twitter. He's a jackass at Patty C831. Give me a follow on Twitter at the Colby D, and the College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. All righty, folks. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
I think tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Congratulations. Go Tigers. Final.
The best looking man, the best dressed man. Long limousine, jet airplanes, custom made clothes. Nothing is over. Nothing.